tonight, the second one of the evening. Pakistan spreads terror virus. And to talk about it, we have General Hasnain with us. General Hasnain, what do you make of these circumstances, in the first place, that you have a pandemic that is worldwide? So many people have died because of it. The toll is now going into the 2.5 lakh zone worldwide. In the country as well, there have been high casualties, fatalities, but Pakistan is still trying to bring in terrorists by conducting ceasefire violations, and then these encounters are taking place as well, where we're losing our security personnel and officers.
The loss of lives of our very, very brave soldiers in Kashmir. But having said that, I think there are two issues that we are really looking at. The first is, it's a combination of these two issues. The first is that ever since the 5th of August, when the decisions on the constitutional issues were taken, we have seen 8 months of relative stability in Kashmir because of the ability to put down the networks, go after the overground workers, and ensure that there was general calm in the valley. The coming of COVID-19 threats around March has created a situation, and at the same time, the melting of snows in the higher reaches of Kashmir has provided an opportunity which Pakistan is seeking to exploit. They know that the numbers that are there in terms of terrorists inside the valley are far too low to be able to sustain a campaign through the season. So they thought that this is the time perhaps when the rest of India is all committed on COVID-19. This is the time when the army will probably be lax in its procedures, perhaps lax on the line of control, and this is the time to try and exploit that. And that's exactly what they've done. They've tried to bring in maximum terrorists at this time to create the conditions which they hope will disturb the peace which has been there for the last 8 months. But what we have to remember is that the Indian Army has been well prepared, as the CDS has very correctly brought out. It was anticipated, and I have no doubt about it that 16 operations conducted in the month of April. We are going to see many more in May, but Pakistan is not obviously going to succeed in any of its nefarious designs that it has got in Kashmir.
Yes, and the Pakistanis have also been carrying out certain other steps in terms of dropping terrorists from their list, and they're sort of trying to stay under the radar as well, where these measures are concerned. And India, by the Prime Minister himself, when he spoke indirectly about it in the NAM meet, perhaps that was the right tone to take at an international stage as well.
There's no doubt about it that the Prime Minister has done the absolutely right thing. He has not named Pakistan, but he has brought out the issue very, very correctly to the international community. We are aware that the FATF has given Pakistan a bit of a reprieve for 3 or 4 months, in the hope that this is the time when Pakistan will be concentrating and focusing on its COVID-19 efforts to save its population. But instead of that, Pakistan has chosen actually to exploit this period to sustain, in fact, give an impetus to terrorist activities through legal means and through physical means by induction of terrorists into Kashmir.
Right. And the CDS and even the Army Chief has said that befitting answer will be given, and we can expect that to happen in the valley itself. Do you think that it might go beyond that too?
Oh, well, the situation in Jammu and Kashmir is always very dynamic. We saw last year what happened with Pulwama and how a single incident panned out a series of activities thereafter, leading to Balakot and beyond. So nothing can be really ruled out. It's all a question of what the size of an event really takes place. If something very big happens in Kashmir, we may be forced to undertake a response immediately. And what kind of a response? I think India will always reserve the rights to ensure that it punishes Pakistan appropriately at a time and place of its own choosing.
Yes, because it's not just about, these ceasefire violations and infiltrations and then these encounters. The PM also obliquely referred to it, the kind of other attempts that Pakistan has been making on social media with malicious posts, and even trying to launch these dummy apps that sort of mimic the app that has been launched to counter the outbreak in India.
Absolutely. In fact, you have hit the right note completely. This whole campaign in Kashmir is hybrid in nature. They are not stopping at just military activities or sending in terrorists. They are looking at the complete information domain. And it's not only Kashmir that they are focusing on, they are also focusing on other diplomatic activities in the UAE, in Kuwait, and all over West Asia, to try and create a divisiveness there, to create a dissension among the ranks of the Middle Eastern nations who appreciate India so hugely. The kind of relationship our Prime Minister has been able to establish with West Asian countries. So somehow the Pakistan is never very comfortable with that. So it's a whole range of activities which Pakistan is involved in. I think India has to ensure that it has to go beyond just the line of control and just the activities inside Kashmir. It has to be diplomatic. It has to be the information domain in which we have to go in a very, very focused way.
And it's not just about the casualties being suffered by security forces. Even civilians are being targeted, as we've seen today itself. So it's the people as well in Jammu and Kashmir who need to bear that in mind.
The fact that even in the Handwara operation, the Indian army went in to actually rescue virtual hostages, that should be a message to the people of Jammu and Kashmir that this is a friendly army. It's an army of India, the friendliest army which is possible, which is present with them there. And on the other side, you see the model which is being created by Pakistan, the kind of casualties that we are suffering on the line of control as far as our civilians are concerned. I think this should be starkly evident to the people of Kashmir, and this is what should be projected by us.
Right. Let's hope that we see that this is countered completely comprehensively in the coming days as well, because as you said, these attempts have been made in the past. We've seen some of that happening in April too, when the snow started melting, and that is still on. And I'm sure our armed forces and other security forces will give a fitting answer to these machinations from across the border. Thanks a lot for joining us, General Hasnain.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.